Hello, good afternoon. احنا we're just waiting لما عدد ال participants يزيد فاللي معانا دلوقتي على الكول استأذنكم we'll wait for a couple of minutes until we reach the full number of registered participants and then we'll start. معلش, I will ask you to hold with us for a bit. We're like halfway through in terms of participants. Once we reach the full number, we'll start the webinar straight away. We'll give it till 4:05 كده to allow as many people as possible to join. Okay, so I think we will start now. Uh, Let me start by introducing myself. أنا سلمى زيادي. I'm Chief Solutions and Quality Officer for River Waves MIA, Middle East and Africa. Thank you for joining our webinar today. Inshallah, you will find it informative and helpful in your decision about the certification course. I'll start by giving you a brief description about the course and what you would expect by this course, the accreditation, and so on. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session to allow you the opportunity to ask any questions you might have pertaining to the course. هستأذنكم and I'll be speaking in both Arabic and English. Some of the participants who are with us on the webinar today have requested that we provide an Arabic description as well. So you will find me switching between Arabic and English as we go ahead. Let me start by sharing my screen. Okay. I believe you should be seeing my screen now. Now, first I want to tell you a bit about River Waves. So you understand who's providing you with the certification. River Waves is a UK-based company. Our headquarters is in London. We specialize in HR consultancy, assessment, and training. We offer our services throughout the Middle East region from our regional office in Egypt and through a network of partners that we delightfully collaborate with in various countries in the region. So we have in Saudi ارتياد for example. عندنا في الكويت CFP. عندنا بنتعامل مع Acceleris في United Arab Emirates. The idea is to offer tailored services للمنطقة. يعني الأوفيس بتاع الريجن متخصص في الكالتشر والابروتش يناسب المنطقة بتاعتنا في Middle East and Africa. Now, we are the Riverway certifications, the Assessor Skills certification is both BPS accredited and CPD accredited. What does that mean to you as an attendee? It means إنه our course meets the standards, requirements, and best practices of the British Psychological Society. The British Psychological Society is the governing body for assessment centers in the UK. It sets the best standards, the best practices, benchmarks, and so on for applying an effective and ethical assessment and development center. There's a similar body to the BPS in the US اللي هو American Society for Assessment, American Psychological Association, sorry. And this sets the benchmarks and standards for the US. Our accreditation follows the BPS or the British Psychological Society, which means that you learn the best practices, ethical values, and professional approach that meets the standards of the British Psychological Society. We go through a very thorough process whereby they review all the details of the course, the activities, the certification process that follows, and so on. CPD, I believe a lot of you would already know it, اللي هو Continuing Professional Development. وإحنا again accredited من ال CPD إنه we offer the same learning value and standards of the CPD. Now you will find that there are a lot of accreditation courses and certification courses for assessment. A lot of them are specific to a certain tool. يعني, for example, you can become certified on the Hogan psychometric tool or the SHL psychometric tools or the Saville tools. Our approach with the River Waves is that we give you the technique and know-how that you can apply on different tools. You don't have to be restricted by the River Wave tools and cases. You can actually apply this know-how and techniques to various tools and certificates. Over the years, we have worked in certifying a big number of assessors. We're over 230 certified, River Waste certified assessors in the region, in the Middle East region. We have actually certified 55 assessors for organizations. So we actually work with organizations as well. بيجي لنا مؤسسات كبيرة عايزين يطوروا internal assessment unit أو يبقى عندهم مراكز قياس داخلية run by ال internal HR عندهم. فإحنا بنعمل ده برضو. as we go along هقول لحضراتكم examples للشركات اللي احنا تعاملنا معاها وعملنا لهم ال own internal assessment team. We have worked with over 45 organizations in the regional to build their assessment capacity أو إن احنا نعمل لهم assessments. الهدف من الكورس ده او الاوبجكتيف اللي حضراتكم هتطلعوا بيه ان انتوا تبقوا certified assessors بتعرفوا to assess الكانديديتس او تقيموا الكانديديتس من خلال الاسسمنت and development centers. طيب what is the purpose of assessments او المؤسسات والشركات وكده بتطبق الاسسمنت ليه؟ The assessment can be a supportive tool لل HR في a lot of the HR practices في اي organization. بداية من إن أنا لما أجي أعين عايزة ما اعتمدش بس على الانترفيو a lot of the time could work or could not be valid 100%. I have a more fair, objective, reliable, valid tool to assess and evaluate the capability of the candidates I have against the role I need. I make sure إن أنا I choose the best fit for my organization in terms of capability and cultural fit. This is one thing that we can apply the assessment for. When it comes to succession planning أو التعاقب الوظيفي وده it's a big item on the agenda لكتير من الشركات إزاي يكون عندنا تعاقب وظيفي. فأجان بنطبق الاسسمنت سنتر ان انا بتاكد ان انا بالنسبه لكل الكريتيكال بوزيشنز الموجوده عندي في المؤسسه انا عامله تقييم للمرشحين للمنصب ده وعامله ريدنس قادره اقيم الشخص ده هيبقى جاهز لل successor role within which period of time. So I make sure انه I have a pool of successors with the readiness clear for me and with a clear development plan as well to grow them into that successor role. We use it for training needs analysis أو تحليل الاحتياجات التدريبية. We need to make sure that our investment as an organization في التطوير والتدريب is in the right place. فمن خلال تقييم الموظفين اللي عندي في الشركة وقياس الجدارات السلوكية اللي موجودة عندهم ببقى عندي قدرة إن أنا ال development plan اللي بحطها أو الخطة التطويرية اللي بحطها تكون موجهة بشكل مظبوط. So when I build the development plan for my organization, I make sure it is tailored to the specific needs of my employees and is aligned with the strategy and vision I have for the organization. We also apply assessment centers for development. The leadership development programs is one of the key solutions we offer through assessment centers. High potential identification and talent identification. How do I know in an objective and fair way rather than built on recommendations من المديرين اللي ممكن تكون ليها اعتبارات تانية مين هم الهاي بوتنشال والتالنت اللي موجودين عندي في المؤسسة عشان أقدر أعمل لهم ريتنشن وديفلوبمنت وأخلق صف تاني من القيادات في الأورجنايزيشن الموجودة عندي. كل الاكزامبلز دي لحاجات بنقدر نطبق فيها الاسسمنت سنتر. And we have done this with organizations. فمثلا سابق في السعودية احنا we built their own internal assessment unit. هم بيعملوا leadership development و continuous development للموظفين ومهتمين جدا انه الديفلوبمنت ده يكون موجه بشكل صحيح. فبالتالي الاسسمنت سنترز بتحصل internally عندهم واحنا عملنا certification و accreditation للinternal assessors عندهم. اشتغلنا مثلا مع جولف بانك في الكويت again إن كانوا عايزين يعملوا succession planning ف we built with them الفريم بتاع succession planning وعملنا assessment للموظفين عندهم وبعد كده عملنا accreditation وcertification للموظفين الانترنال عشان يقدروا يكونتينيو الجيرني في succession planning and the development of their employees. We've also worked on high potential identification programs زي مع مثلا شركة ترشيد الطاقة في السعودية، إن إحنا إزاي نقدر نحدد مين هم ال top talent or the high potential in the organization through an objective and fair manner, evaluating their actual capabilities and capacities and growing them. In the UAE, we've worked with Majd Al Futtaim. We had a success story with them for the finance team, and they started cascading it to other teams across the region. We have worked with various organizations for various reasons to assess their employees and have had a lot of success stories in this front. طيب بالنسبة لحضراتكم بقى attending this course, what does this mean to you? احنا if we look at the assessment center as a process, it has we have this wheel, it's a river waves model for the full assessment center process. بيبتدي من جزء قبل الاساسر، يعني دور الاساسر بيجي at a later stage. The first stage بيبقى الديزاين نفسه بتاع الاسسمنت سنتر. احنا in this course we cover behavioral competencies. ازاي اقدر اقيم الجدارات السلوكيه، ما بنبصش على الجدارات الفنيه، بنبص على السلوك بتاع الموظف. ازاي اقدر اقيم قدرته على اتخاذ القرار، قدرته على التفكير الاستراتيجي، قدرته على قياده الفرق في الاورجنايزيشن. So I assess behavioral competencies. I'm looking at behaviors, not at technical competencies. So we start by identifying the competencies. أول step في الديزاين إن إحنا بنحدد أصلاً الجدارات اللي إحنا محتاجين نقيسها للمؤسسة دي. And this is closely linked للستراتيجي والفيجن والميشن والكالتشر بتاعت الأورجنايزيشن. نبتدي نحدد الكومبتنسيز دي behavioral indicator أقدر أobserve وevaluate، حاجة measurable أقدر أقيمها. بعد كده بنحدد ايه الأنشطة أو activities that I will use to evaluate or assess these indicators and competencies. And finally, design the schedule for the day of the assessment. Our role as assessor comes after this gray part of the cycle, or the design phase of the cycle. So this happens before our role as an assessor. Our actual role as an assessor comes on the assessment day itself, the implementation of the assessment and the integration of the results of the assessment at the end of the day, and in the outcomes phase, to write reports, to reflect what we observed in the assessment center, and to deliver feedback sessions to candidates to explain these results or these reports that came out. طيب احنا in the course, even though our focus is on the blue and red part of the cycle, which is what you would actually be doing as an assessor, we also give you a bit of exposure and taste and flavor of the design phase. And the reason we do that is if, as an assessor, what you do on the day is impacted by the design phase. So understanding what happens in the design phase makes you more capable technically as an assessor. Also, if you are looking as an organization to implement your own assessment center internally, designing the assessment center is a big part that goes into it. So this is why we give you a bit of the design, and we cover this briefly in the first day of the course, and then we start going into the details. Now, our approach in the course is that we give you a bit of theory, but we also work practically on implementing your role as an assessor. So there's a lot of practice in the certificate, because we want to make sure that when you come out, you're fully capable of implementing an assessment center. And this is why after the assessment center certification finishes the 3 days, there's an actual evaluation that takes place for 2.5 hours to evaluate your capability, after which we give you a feedback session. If there are certain areas that require further development, we coach you one-on-one in these areas, and then we evaluate you again. And this increases the value and the credibility of the certification a lot. You know, it's not just about attending the course. We actually evaluate you. You have a report showing your performance in the evaluation, and a feedback session, and if needed, coaching one-on-one to further develop your ability to be an assessor. And this is all included as part of the course. Now, let me focus a bit more on your role as an assessor and what you will be working on throughout the course. The role of the assessor, we have a model for it in River Waves, and it's called ORCI, to observe, record, classify, and evaluate. So we work with you. We practice a lot in the course on how you observe the behavior of the candidates throughout different simulation activities that we put them through. So we create situations that happen in the workplace, and we observe how the candidates behave in these situations to evaluate certain behaviors and competencies. We work through different case studies. So we have activities such as an analysis presentation or a business simulation, where the candidate is expected to review the performance of a certain organization and come up with recommendations and action plans. We work on role play activities, whereby the candidate is a manager and is expected to coach and give feedback and work with a subordinate, and we observe how they handle that. We work on group discussions, how we observe candidates in a group setting, how they manage a conversation in a group setting, and we use that to evaluate certain behaviors. So we practice on different types of simulations and activities. Throughout these simulations and activities, the role of the assessor is to observe the behavior of the candidate. بيشوف الكانديديت بيتصرف ازاي، بيتكلم ازاي، بيتعامل مع الاسسر ازاي، بيشرح وجهة نظره ازاي، بيقدر يدعمها بلوجيك ولا لا. وبناخد فول نوتس وبنريكورد وبنبراكتس على موضوع الريكوردينج ده، لانه it's a bit complex how to take full notes for the behavior of the candidates so we can assess them. And then we start making a link between اللي candidate بيقوله أو البيهيفير اللي أنا شفته والcompetencies والbehaviors اللي أنا عايزة أعمل لها observation. How can I take الbehavior أو التصرف اللي تصرفه الcandidate داخل الexercise وأحوله ل evaluation، أو أقدر أشوف من خلاله الcompetencies أو الجدارات اللي أنا بعمل لها evaluation. Finally, we practice on the scoring. How can we score candidates based on their level of the organization and the activity they took and the competencies we are evaluating in the activities? So throughout the course, we'll work on building your capability and practicing the technique of ORCI to observe, record, classify, and evaluate. Now, this is what happens on the assessment days. بعد assessment day, we will also work with you on the next stage, which is the feedback and development plan. Now, the idea of the Assessments and Development Center إن أنا بقدر أطلع ب very specific findings خاصة بكل candidate أو مرشح كان عندي في مركز القياس، بإيه نقط القوة اللي موجودة عنده وإيه مجالات التطوير. So I can identify for each candidate what are their areas of strength and areas of development. It's very specific and tailored to the individual. Now, with these insights, we have a feedback session, a one-on-one session that happens in the red part of the cycle, which is the outcomes phase. In this feedback session, I sit with the candidate. I start discussing with them their behavior in the assessment center, what are our findings, our insights regarding their competency level, and agreeing together development areas. فبناخد الباي ان بتاع الكانديديتس ان ايه هي مجالات التطوير اللي موجوده عنده فيما يخص الجدارة. نشرح له ايه نقط القوة اللي شفناها، ايه مجالات التطوير اللي موجوده، وفي ستراكشر معين للفيدباك سيشن بنبراكتس عليه، هو الريفر ويف ستراكشر وموديل، وده بيست على خبراتنا سنين كتيره في الكوتشنج وفي الفيدباك. ايه احسن ابروتش ان انا اقدر اديليفر الريزلتس دي، لان a lot of the time it's tricky, it has an impact on the career of the employee، بيبقى فيه resistance، بيبقى فيه challenges. فازاي اقدر امانج الفيدباك سيشن دي ان انا اطلع باحسن outcome للموظف يستفيد بيه وللorganization. لما بنعمل الفيدباك سيشن دي بنتفق مع بعض مع الموظف، بنشرح له ايه نقط التطوير اللي ظهرت عندك من خلال الاسسمنت سنتر and we start agreeing on a development plan. Again, we practice a development plan ازاي نعملها. وقبل ما نعمل الفيدباك سيشن كمان بنبراكتس ازاي نكتب ريبورت. احنا طلعنا دلوقتي في الاسسمنت سنتر بكومنتس معينه من الاسسرز وفايندنجز معينه وايفالويشن للموظف، ازاي اطلع ده بشكل ريبورت ستراكتشرد يقدر الموظف يقراه، يبقى فاهم ايه نقط القوه اللي موجوده عنده وايه مجالات التطوير. فوي براكتس ذا ريبورت رايتنج، ازاي اكتب تقرير عن اداء الموظف بنقط القوه ومجالات التطوير. So the report highlighting the areas of strength and development for each employee. How can I reflect this report in a feedback session وأدي للموظف feedback على الأداء بتاعه، إيه نقط القوة وإيه مجالات التطوير اللي موجودة عنده. And then eventually أطلع ب development plan لكل موظف، ايه هي الاكشنز اللي هياخدها عشان يقدر يطور من نفسه في فترة زمنية معينة. And this we work on مثلا if we are working with successors and they have a certain readiness period, then we develop the development plan to cover this period of time. وفي approach معين للdevelopment plan لازم بنعمله، لازم take into consideration برضو learning style بتاع الموظف. ف this is what we will work on in the assessment center. We'll cover the full week, but we will focus more on the assessment delivery and on the outcomes phase as an assessors. However, we understand that some of the attendees, the purpose is to build their own internal assessment unit as an organization. So we will expose you to the design phase as well, so you have an understanding of what it pertains and what you need to do to build your own assessment centers. Now, if you are looking على certification D, so you become a freelance assessor, this is a full-time role and job now. There are a lot of people who work as assessors. احنا in River Waves, we have a pool of assessors in our center of excellence of over 70 certified assessors that work with us in the region on different projects. So the way we work with Riverways, and we have freelance assessors that work with us, and we have a lot of work on hand that a lot of them actually are full-time assessors with us on Riverwaves. And this course gives you the opportunity to join this community, to become a Riverwave assessor, and to work with us in the projects we are implementing in the region. So whether you're looking to start your career as an assessor, this is an opportunity. It also opens the door for you to join our community. Or whether you're looking to build your own internal capacity of assessment in an organization, we can support you with that. We have done that for several organizations. وإحنا our approach in Riverways is we always look as with our clients as it's a long-term partnership. So if you're looking to build your own internal assessment center after you finish the certification, we're always happy to consult with you, to offer you support, guidance, advice. The same applies if you're looking to start your career as a freelance assessor, whether you choose to join our community or to work with other organizations, because the Riverway certification allows you the opportunity to work with other assessment providers as well. I believe this covers to a great extent what I wanted to share with you. I'm sure you all have questions, so please feel free to share your questions. Either you can, ask the question on the chat or just ask me directly. I'm very happy to answer any questions you might have. I'll give it 5 minutes to see if anyone has any questions. Yes, I think we have a question here. would like to know, will we practice the design competency framework itself? The design we will not practice. So the assessment center design will not be, we will not practice it. However, you will know the fundamentals of the design. And you will have the templates and examples of the design phase that can allow you to take it forward and build on it. But the practice will be mainly on the your role as an assessor, on the evaluation of the competencies, on observing the candidates, on writing reports, and so on. But we'll give you all the framework and the foundations and the know-how for the design phase as well. The other question is, when is the course and how much, please? There are different timings for the course. So it will be taking place in Dubai in the end of November. We'll send an announcement with the specific dates. It will probably be around the 26th of November for 3 days. And then there will be a follow-up evaluation for 2.5 hours. In Egypt, there's one taking place next week. In Saudi إن شاء الله هيبقى الكورس في أول أسبوع في ديسمبر 2 و3 و4 ديسمبر. The cost is with the commercial team as well. I believe my colleague Nancy wants to jump in regarding the course cost. Nancy, do you have something to add?
Hello, Salma. It's actually, I'm not Nancy. My name is Farid, and I'm just jumping in to ask a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Regarding the certification course. So my question here is, I believe you're mentioning, and that it shows that it's a BPS and CPD quality mark, and it seems, from my understanding, that it's an accredited course from your end and from BPS. Can you tell me a little bit about how I can utilize this certificate? So if I go through the whole workshop and I get certified and I pass, so does this mean that I can utilize this certificate, or it's accredited and acknowledged only in the UK, or can I also use it and it's recognized and accredited in other markets as well? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farida, for your questions. It's actually acknowledged globally. So you can use this accreditation and certification to work across the region in Europe, so in the Middle East as well as in Europe. It's you can use it there. You can choose to use it as a freelance assessor, or if you want to implement assessment centers in your organization, you can do that as well. Mariam, I can see you want to share more details on what's next and how should I register for this. There's a link for the registration that will be shared on with all the participants if you wish to register. And once you register, we'll share with you all the details of the. And if you have any questions as well, you can email us on the email address. The training, will it be delivered in English or in Arabic? That's another question I'm getting. So the training is actually يعني the presentations, the manual, all the material will be in English. However, we're duolingual. All our trainers speak both English and Arabic. فهنبقى بنتكلم بالعربي وبنشرح بالعربي، بس التريننج الماتيريال نفسها كلها بالإنجلش. All the terminology and the content is in English، بس الشرح هيبقى بالعربي. وبنتكلم بالعربي طالما there is no one in the training that has a language barrier. Another question is, when can I start to work as a freelancer? So once you go through the certification and you go through the evaluation and you're accredited, you start joining our process in River Waves, whereby we allow you to shadow other assessors and observe an assessment center, and then you can join. So once you're accredited with us, you can start working as a freelancer. Typically, what we do with our freelancers, we allow them to shadow other assessor again. I have a question from Georgina. It's happening next week. When is the next time? In Egypt, we have it every quarter. So we will be announcing the session for next quarter soon. Okay, so I have a question here about how can we assess experienced staff who have been working for over 15 years. So we just assess their company, or there's this specific method in this case. So In the assessment centers we're applying, we're assessing their behaviors. We're assessing behavioral competencies that have nothing to do with their technical experience. We want to see, for example, how do they make decisions? How do they communicate? How do they influence? How do they solve problems when they're faced with problems? So their 15 years of experience or technical knowledge is not what we're looking at. You will be able to evaluate their behavioral competencies, their ability to behave and to influence and to communicate and to make decisions and so on. And this is what we tell candidates. And when we're giving them feedback, we don't tell them we're assessing your technical knowledge or we're assessing your personality as a whole. We're focusing on specific competencies that we're evaluating that are critical for the organization and are linked to the strategy of the organization. Um, I have another question here. What is the structure of the course in terms of theory versus practical assessment? So the course is mainly practical. We cover the theory primarily in the first day, but then the second and third day is mainly practice. I would say if we talk an overall ratio, we'd say it's 60% practice and 40% theory. We focus a lot on the practice because as we said, we want you to come out of this course able to act as an assessor. You could come out of this course and actually start working as an assessor. This was the last question I received. And I believe Nancy has been sharing with you the details of the course on the chat as well for Sarah and Mariam, so you can follow up on how to register, the dates, any financial questions, and so on. Um, I've answered all the questions I've received on the chat so far. If you have any further questions, please feel free to share them. Okay, so being a river waves assessor, how does the freelancing work? What happens is after you finish the course, we let you know that if you're interested in joining our assessors pool, that you let us know. You email us your bio, and if you get you go through the evaluation and you're certified, we start a process whereby you shadow some of our assessors, and we contact you for projects, potential projects. We let you know about the project, its scope, the time, the rates, and so on. And then you join us to, we have an agreement, an NDA agreement, and so on, and you join our pool of assessors. So it's pretty straightforward. You just show interest and we start the process. Okay, I don't come from a corporate background. Will this be applicable to me? Yes, because again, the focus is on, the behavioral competencies. Typically, what we try and do is that we match your level, as a consultant or as an assessor with who's being evaluated. So, for example, if we're evaluating a leadership team in a corporate environment, we'll make sure that we have assessors who have a bit of, a corporate experience. However, it is not a prerequisite that you have corporate experience to join us as an assessor. I'll I think I've covered the questions I've received so far, but I'll keep it open in case any other. Okay, so I have another question here. If you have a full-time job, that's fine. You can still work with us part-time. A lot of our assessors have have a full-time job. They just work together on your availability. We let you know in advance when the projects are happening in case you need to book them as holidays. But as long as your company is okay with it, we don't have any problem that you work with us part-time. I think this covers all the questions I've received so far. Please, if you have any question, let me know. My colleague Nancy will be sharing with you as well a link with the registration details for anyone who wishes to register on the course once we're done. I'll give it a couple more minutes in case anyone thinks of any other questions. Okay, I think this wraps it up. Thank you very much for joining us today. It was a real pleasure having you interested in our course, and hopefully we would meet some of you in person if you decide to register. Thank you.